What's going on, guys? Zers here, and today I think it's time for another one of my spiel videos. A video where I simply talk about things that have been on my mind lately. Right. So, I think this one is going to be a particularly good video. Hopefully an eye-opening video. Hopefully a video that gets a good bit of conversation going. Right. So, I am subscribed to a YouTuber by the name of Internet Aristocrat, and I suggest that you go subscribe to his channel because it's pretty awesome. I like his channel. However, recently he posted up a video titled Tumblrism's Cultural Appropriation. So I watched the video on cultural appropriation, and I realized that it was bloody ridiculous. However, I sat there and I thought, while cultural appropriation on Tumblr, like most stuff, is ridiculous, it does stem from something that is very prevalent in our society, our American society. I'm going to talk about that in today's video. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's talk about this. In minority ethnic groups, there's a term titled, or a term that we all like to use, called white America. And basically what white America is, it's basically just saying that the news and the media always seems to pander towards white people. If you take a look at any sitcom, if you take a look at any television show, if you take a look at any comic book, you will notice something. You'll notice that most of the protagonists are white males. And very rarely do you ever get a TV show, or very rarely do you ever get any comic book that features an African American or Asian or Mexican or any other type of character. You see, this is so rare that whenever a character that is black or Mexican appears, it becomes news. For example, let's take the Ultimate Spider-Man. So the original Spider-Man and the Ultimate Spider-Man comic book, Peter Parker, he died in a final battle against the Ultimate Six, right? And a new protagonist by the name of Miles Morales, this black Latino kid, became the new main character in the Ultimate Spider-Man universe, right? And this was newsworthy. They actually got a little bit of coverage, and that's how I figured out that this was happening, So, and the funny thing is, he's the only one. He's one of the very rare black superheroes that you can call out without a great deal of thought into it. The other day I was just thinking about all of the black superheroes that we have, and I can name them off now because I thought about it. We have Storm, Black Panther, Static Shock, Falcon. We have, I said Black Panther. What else? We have John Stewart, the third Green Lantern. We have Vixen on Justice League. We have well, see, that's all I got, honestly. I got was that 6? 6 off the top of my head. Well, not really off the top of my head, but let's see how many white superheroes I can name off the top of my head. Alright, guys, this is off the dome. I'm gonna clear my head. Let's see how many white superheroes I can call off. Superman doesn't count because he's Kryptonian, so I guess he doesn't count technically. So let's see if I can do this. Let's see what happens, right? Okay, we have Iron Man, Spider-Man, Bruce Banner, or the Incredible Hulk. Well, he turns green. I don't know if he counts or not. Thor doesn't count because he's a god. Well, does Thor count? I mean, he's a Norse god. I don't know if Thor counts. Thor will not count. We have Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. We have Rogue. We have Wolverine, Cyclops. Who else? We have Shadowcat. Who else do we have? This is kind of funny. I already have 8. I think I already mentioned Captain America, so he doesn't count. Who else do I have? I have Mr. Fantastic. I have, I guess you could say, all of the Fantastic Four, so that's what, like 14. Who else do we have? Well, that's it. That was off the top of my head, and of course, if I stop and think about it, I can call out a couple more. But that was like 14 white superheroes off the dome to the 7 I had to think about, right? So, hopefully that's some bit of an idea of just how prevalent it really is in our society. Now, I hope you guys don't think that I'm saying that there are no black superheroes. That's not what I'm saying at all. Quite the opposite. There are. Except in comparison to the amount of white superheroes that there are. Or, actually, I don't know very many Asian superheroes. I don't know very many Native American superheroes. Well, there are a couple of Native American superheroes. But not a lot that stand alone. Not a lot that are their own main heroes. I guess I just now thought about Green Lantern. I'm not Green. Well, yeah, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, white guy, and then Green Arrow, and then you have Speedy, and then you have Robin. You have Jason Todd, Robin. See, I can just keep going now that I start thinking about it. Now, of course, that's just superheroes. That's just comic books. We also have a lot of that prevalent with models. We have lots of models who are white, Anglo, blonde hair, blue eyes. We even see it in anime, which is kind of funny because anime is Japanese animation. And yet, for some odd reason, we see a lot of these Aryan, blonde hair, blue eyed protagonists. If you don't know, there's Naruto. If you want to know what Naruto looks like, just type in Naruto in Google, right? But for those of you all who know Naruto, I always thought it was strange as a kid because Naruto first premiered on Cartoon Network when I was like in the 5th grade, right? And I see Naruto, and I'm like, is this guy supposed to be Asian? Why does he look like a white guy? Right? Naruto, his dad, Minato, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan-looking guys. You even have Edward in Full Metal Alchemist. Even Ichigo Kurosaki somewhat resembles that of a white person with his orange hair. Now, maybe Ichigo's just too cool for black hair or whatever, but we still see those elements even in Japanese culture, even in Japanese cartoons. It's kind of funny how that happens, how literally on the opposite side of our planet, we still see these white characteristics appear, right? I mean, funny thing is, I just now thought about Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, Aryan-looking person. So, we see this a lot in our society. Now, of course, I can explain this very easily and very simply as to why predominantly you have white people being the protagonist in a lot of film and media and modeling. And the answer is simple, because they are the majority. You know, advertising companies don't care about you, they don't care about me, they don't care about any of us. They just want profit. So what they do is they appeal to the majority. They feel like the majority are white people who are going to buy their product, or the majority of white people are going to watch their shows. They're going to make characters that relate to white people. If they want more black people, say like Tyler Perry's House of Pain, they're going to create shows that more pander towards black people. I actually kind of feel like this is the reason why the Cleveland show didn't do so well in comparison to American Dad and Family Guy. I don't know too much about that. I could be absolutely wrong. But that's just how I feel. And like I said, we see a lot of this in our society all the time. We even see how, for some odd reason, we don't get a lot of like black women or a lot of Hispanic women who are very popular and look very good. And when we do, like, no one really cares too much. We do have like, and actually, here's the funny thing. When we do, they're actually lighter of skin. They're actually more closer to white women anyway. You know, if you look at all of the Hispanic women or the Spanish women, and the funny thing about Spanish or Spain is they actually have blonde hair and blue eyes anyway. It's just something a lot of people don't know, which I actually think is kind of funny. So even when you say Spanish, I was actually incorrect. Spanish people do look like the Aryan blonde hair, blue eyed people. So a little shocking to you guys. A little bit of history. But like I said, so that's the reason why is because it panders towards the majority, right? This is why you'll see a lot of predominantly white protagonists in film and in media and in commercials, because the majority of the people here in America are white people. So it makes sense why it is, but you know, we see it all the time. However, that is not the focus of cultural appropriation. So let's talk about that. So, what does the word appropriation mean? The word appropriation means taking something for your own use without the permission of the person who created it, right? So, like I said, go check out Internet Aristocrat's video. If you already have, well then, you're ahead of the game. But basically what people on Tumblr do is they complain about how white people take a whole bunch of different aspects from other people's cultures and they use it in their music videos or they use it in their TV shows, and how white people are stealing the culture of other races and other people, and how racist it is that white people are taking all of this. So I started thinking about that. And the funny thing is, to a certain extent, they're correct. The people on Tumblr are right about this aspect. One thing that you will notice, and one thing that I know a lot of minority people will notice, is this aspect right here. Whenever someone of any minority or ethnic group does something, has something that is specific to their race or their culture. Nobody cares. Yeah, right? Nobody cares. It's not awesome. It's not spectacular. It's not cool. But the moment a white person does something, the moment the white person adopts that style or that piece of their culture, well, then it becomes awesome. Well, then it becomes amazing. This is true. We can see this in almost all aspects of life, right? If we can take the blues, like we can take the blues music. Now, the blues was this genre of music that was created by black people in Jim Crow era after they were freed from slavery, but Jim Crow laws were created, so they couldn't get jobs. So it was really hard for them to transfer to actual citizens. So a lot of them were hungry and were sad and depressed and didn't know what to do. So they just started making up the blues. They just started, playing with a bunch of instruments and playing about the blues and playing with their sorrow. And from the blues came jazz music, and jazz music became about improvisation and quick thinking, and the same thing with rap music, with the freestyle and whatnot. But the funny thing is, from the blues came out rock music, right? And rock music, I guess nowadays, is something more associated with white people and white culture, right? But that is where it came from. The rock music actually started from the blues. It got its roots from the blues and from jazz music, right? It wasn't until Elvis Presley started doing rock did everyone think it was spectacular. Did they think it was exciting, or was it acceptable? But the time black people were doing it, nobody cared, right? So, let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves. How did Miley Cyrus, a woman with quite possibly the flattest behind I've ever seen, somehow become associated with twerking? Seriously, how did that happen? I mean, if you go on YouTube right now and just type in the word twerking, quite literally the very first result you get is some blonde woman at a twerking contest that has Miley Cyrus somewhere in the title. So black and Latino women have been twerking for years, but nobody cared. So what? And I know that dreads and braids and dreadlocks have never specifically been a black thing. Here in America, we predominantly see it out in the hood. When black people do it, nobody cares. When a white woman gets dreads, oh, it looks nice, it's lovely. Black people, Latino people have always been tan. A white person gets a tan, oh, it's lovely. Black people Latino people, me, just normally have tan skin. Nobody cares. And I say go check out Sawyer's video, Sawyer 7 Image. I have his video in the description box. Go check that out. It's a great video where he also talks about this issue here that I'm chatting about too. But like I said, I find it very interesting because even here, even when you let's take a look at rap music very briefly, right? And then I'll be done with this video. So Macklemore, right? Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, they make a song about the thrift shop, right? About spending $20 on the thrift shop and buying hand-me-downs, right? It blows up, it explodes, it's awesome because it's not about material, it's the opposite of materialism. It's insanely popular, right? Everyone loves it. Lupe Fiasco makes a song, right, about how the word bitch should not be used as a compliment and how we should look at it in our society. Nobody cares. Barely a conversation started off that song. Great song by Lupe Fiasco, right? Macklemore, he makes a song, Same Love, right? Takes a while for that song to build up traction, but when it does, it just keeps going and going and going and going, right? White guy makes up a song about a social issue, right? People are all like, wow, this is awesome. Immortal Technique, been in the underground for a very long time, very intelligent guy, destroys anything Macklemore could hope or pray to God be able to do. Immortal Technique destroys him. But this Peruvian black guy, so what? No one cares. Like seriously, guys, listen, guys, go check out the song "You Never Know" by Immortal Technique. I promise that song just might bring a tear to your eyes. I'm serious. Go, link in the description box. Go check out "You Never Know" by Immortal Technique. Then go check out "A Dance with the Devil" by Immortal Technique. My two favorite rap songs ever. Great songs. Amazing. Amazingly done. Destroy Same Love. But Immortal Technique will never get the coverage that Macklemore gets. Not only because he's not mainstream, but because he's not a white guy. I bet you if a white person made the same songs Immortal Technique made, well then it would become fantastic. So to sum up everything I've been saying, is cultural appropriation racist, like Tumblr says? No, not at all. In fact, you could argue that really it's just flattery. You know, I mean, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. You could make that argument. You know, and one thing that I've thought about here is like, what is white culture? Right? Like, what in white culture is something that is strictly for white people? Just some stereotypes that white people just have. Because as I thought about it, I don't really know. Historically speaking, and this is just the facts, people. This isn't me being racist and saying white people are all horrible or anything like that. But just historically speaking, what we've seen as white culture is simply destroying one other race or destroying one culture, and then assimilating their people into that culture that they attempted to destroy. Again, this is just historical. This isn't me being a jerk. This is history, right? So, I don't know. It's just something to think about. Hopefully, this got you guys thinking about something, and I hope this brings about a good discussion about cultural appropriation. Again, I think people on Tumblr are ridiculous about it, but in principle, it is a good conversation to have. It is something that we should talk about. So, as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and check out all the other videos I have linked in the description box. And, as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon.